Hey, it's Ken here again, and I'm just wanting to follow up on my last two videos talking about the RGBlink Mini-ISO. What I did in the process of making that is figure out that this particular machine's got some quirks, just like they all do. Some are good, some are bad, some need to be some changes made, and I will be sending some more advice or ideas to RGBlink, and hopefully they can make some of those work for us. And we are now in version 1.8 on the firmware update, so if you haven't got that yet, go ahead and get that. But what have I found that need some work on? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Some good points and some bad points. So let's start with the good. And we'll go to the bad, and then we'll go to those that are in between. Real quick, HDMI inputs, love them. 4K maximum, you can get down as low as you want. I tried using a PTZ camera where I could adjust the resolution, and I just couldn't find anything coming in HDMI to give it a problem. The only time I had a problem was with a wireless HDMI extender, and then it was the extender that was a problem. As soon as I connected it with a fiber optic HDMI cable to go that distance, it worked just fine. So far they've been taking everything that I can give them, and I'm really excited about that. They also have a couple of HDMI outputs, and these are for the multi-view and also for the program view, and they work great too. And you can also switch those around a little bit. So really convenient HDMI inputs and outputs. The SDI side of that works with the same inputs as the HDMI. So you can either have SDI or HDMI. The neat thing about that is you could have multiple ones. You could have both of them plugged in and just simply switch from one to the other. You have to manually switch it. It's not like others where there's a priority. You just manually switch it through the menu. NDI decoding allows you to get NDI signals into this machine. NDI encoding allows you to send NDI signals out of this machine to someplace else, like OBS, vMix, your laptop in general. You can send it to to wherever you want to send an NDI signal. I would almost use this NDI signal to send, and that's, by the way, going to be the program view that it's sending. One of the things that I thought about is a cry room, for instance, that has a network cable going to there, maybe has a computer there, or to someplace else that might have a computer that can then bring it back out and allow it to be played in that particular location. However, the decoding doesn't seem to want to work within this switcher very well. I get a lot of twitches on mine. It's just really, really bad synchronization, and it's just always just causing a lot of fuss. I tried this with another switcher. I have a Fumaco M4 video switcher that I've been using prior to getting this one from the company. And so I tried it on there. It's got NDI, not a problem. Same exact camcorder, or same exact PTZ camera, running NDI into the switcher. In fact, I got two cameras that I can do that. I can also do NDI tools and bring in my screens from my laptop one at a time, and I can show laptop screens. None of that comes in smoothly. So I believe it is within this decoding system, and I will be letting them know that that is a problem, so hopefully they can get that fixed. Views. Okay, that's what the two previous videos were. I tell you what, views are nothing more than a fantastic way to do a multi-machine macro. Okay, so what did the views do for me, or did for me? And again, go to those videos and you can see how it actually, you can put those together. But it's basically controlling the inputs. So any cameras, computers, whatever you have on the inputs, it controls the inputs. It controls the picture-in-picture settings for those inputs, and it controls the PTZ settings that are coming into those cameras maybe that you have connected to those inputs. So you can do all three of those simultaneously with a push of one button. Something really nice, and again, I think this is probably the most important part of this particular switcher, or the biggest part of this particular switcher, and its ability to do that all with the push of one button. Two ways that you can control the switcher without having to use the onboard menu or the onboard buttons. One is through TaoCloud or Tao1live.com. The other is through the web interface or the web app. And let me show you both of those right now. All right, so here we are in the TaoCloud. I bring that over here, and with the TaoCloud, basically what you are doing is you are signing in. I'm using a email address, and the problem I have with the TaoCloud is really more the sign in than anything else. Now there are some other things that don't work quite as smoothly as I wish they would, and hopefully they continue to upgrade this so that it works better, but the sign in is the problem that I have. And the reason for that is, if I am the only one that does the live streaming for our church, there would not be a problem. But I'm not. I have a couple extra volunteers, and they do this probably more than I do. Okay, and I fill in at least once a month, but they're doing it the rest of the time, and they do a lot of other things with this, with our live stream. And the problem is, we're all signing in on the same computer in the same system because we're going to the same location. We're representing our church on our YouTube channel. So the problem with signing in with an email is not so bad, except that you have to do a CAPTCHA which sends the code to your email address. Now you have to get that, and you have 60 seconds to get that put in. So you only have 60 seconds to put in that code to get into the TaoCloud. They need to come up with a better way to do that and secure it. And one way may be to a phone, and yet that's still not going to help. Now they do have the web app, which is using the IP address of the RGBlink Mini-ISO, and that is probably what we're going to do instead, because that just connects right to the link. I can make a shortcut for that, and we're in. So we'll probably go that way, but let me show you the TaoCloud. This is where you're going to get your NDI authorization once you get your code from the company. You'll send that in, and this is the first page that you're going to get to. On your devices, you're going to see whatever RGBlink devices that you have. In this case, my Mini and the Mini-ISO. And right now it's showing unauthorized, and we're not seeing anything. So it's not actually connecting, even though it shows here that it's online. So for some reason, and this is the problem that I have with the TaoCloud. It doesn't connect for me as often as I would wish, or as smoothly as I would wish, besides the signing in. So RGBlink folks, this is the problem. And I want you, if you could fix this, this would be great. But anyways, what this does is this also tells me what the temperature is for the equipment, which has allowed me to understand a little bit more about the actual temperature rating here. So this does have a fan built in, and the fan I'm running on automatic at highest speed is noisy. What I have figured out is I set it on top of a laptop cooler. I turn the laptop cooler on low. I put the fan on 3, which is halfway up the speed by going to manual mode, and it drops the volume down tremendously, and it drops it keeps it cooler than when it's full blast going as fast as it can. And what we're talking is about 54 degrees Celsius when it's just using the fan, even on its high, to about 41 to 42 degrees Celsius. That 41 or 42 degrees Celsius is only about 107 degrees. That's warm. That's all it is. That 52 or 54 Celsius, now we're getting up into the 130s Fahrenheit, and now we're starting to get some heat, and it's very uncomfortable when you're working around that. But again, that temperature, that fan is what's going so hot. But that's where I get this information, equipment info. You can actually control the Mini-ISO right from here. You can choose SDI versus HDMI, and this is one of those places where you can make that choice when it's actually being seen. Let me see if I can reset. And all right, okay, it looks like I'm in this time. It says it's authorized. I got some of the information here, and you can see that I'm running HDMI right now and not SDI on 3, which is where I've got my SDI HDMI. I can actually set that maybe. So part of it came in, and sometimes if I do this, you can see now it's offline. So here's one of those times it's just not working for me. This afternoon it was working just fine. Anyways, I'm going to move on. You can do basic functions here. You can do scene management or those views. You can manage those here. You can upload background and logos if it's working. Your picture-in-picture, this is where you can start your picture-in-picture work before you go and adjust them to the sizes that you want. If you click on any of these, they'll always come back to the size that they are. So just letting you know. You can also work with a single layer or double or picture-in-picture. Special effects, so these are all your transitions. And then you have other things, and these are all things that you can control on the menu also. You can turn on the recording from here or turn it off. Again, it's not right now, it's not showing, otherwise it would show you that it's recording, even though it is recording on my machine. Sending the streams. The first stream will be always populated. You cannot use that. That's one of theirs. And the reason that is there is because that is actually designed for you to upload to their server, and then it will go from there to a couple dozen, I think, different locations. So you can stream to many locations, much more so than the 3 that you can do here. You can stream through them. And then settings, these are all the settings that are also in your menu. So nothing new there. So this is all this is one place where you can control your switcher. The other place is right here on the web app. So this is just simply the IP address for the Mini-ISO switcher in your network, and you plug that in, and you are then on this app that can control pretty much everything that the menu can control also. So you can bring up the menu, which is where we're at right now. Your views are here. They're also over there, so you can go to there from either location. I think that's the only thing that you can do from either location. I'm going to go back to this here, and you can see the view now is on the preview side. So that's what we're seeing on the web app. So the web app, then you can also go down here to settings, and this is again where you can set all the settings. So the fan I have at level 3 right now. Your inputs, your outputs, your IP address, all of that can be done right here for HDMI. So yeah, now this is a little bit different in the settings. This is where you can set your IP address, not your IP address, but your inputs. And you can either go to HDMI or SDI. So this is again where you can, for instance, for me, I'm got SDI on the same as what you're watching with the HDMI. So my screen from my laptop and this SDI input right over here are coming through the same channel. So you can just switch from there. So if you need to switch back and forth, you don't have to go through your menu on your switcher, which is really kind of nice. You can just bring up the program view, which just brings it up the whole thing. Go back to your menu. Backgrounds. So here's where you can also load your backgrounds. There's all the backgrounds we have. You can see the background that I have right here is one that is right there. So if I wanted to switch that background, for instance, I can click on that, and we should have a background change here soon. I'm not connecting to the switcher as well as I would like. So there's another issue. These are really nice features, but I need them to connect a lot faster. You can also show your logo. So these are the two layers that we don't normally see. So you got the background layer, then you got layer, I think this is layer 1 and layer 2, and then the logo is layer 3. And you can see how that goes in here. So when I show the logo, it goes in here on top of both the program and the preview. And that's it. That's the top layer of the 4-layer cake, if you will. So I'm going to close the logo. Layer 1. And here's another piece that I just cannot figure out. Why that is showing me pictures like this. So I got to talk to them about that. The B layer is the same. There's a logo. You can control your PTZ cameras. So if you look on HDMI 2, I'm going to bring up HDMI 2, so you can just click it there. It goes to the local web address for HDMI 2, and now I can control that PTZ camera right from here. So I can zoom out, zoom in, and it does just a nice job right here. So I can control it pretty nicely here. And since this is actually a touch screen for me, I can control it with my fingers if I really wanted to on my laptop. This is supposed to also work on a tablet, which it does, but it connects a little bit more difficultly. So right now, still having problems connecting these, but they are definitely worth having these extra things. Then the audio, not much control that you have with audio in. You have inputs. You have input 1, input 2. You can mix it immediately, volume on each one of those, and control that. But right now, my volume on input 1 is what you're hearing, so obviously it's not at 0. So again, a little bit rough. Okay, there's the output for the audio is coming up to 100, and we have a line in. So just something to be able to do, and hopefully these can be cleaned up a little bit. It would also be nice to have a little bit more knowledge of where the audio levels are, but you can see them really nicely on each of the inputs on your multi-view. So it's there. And so that's the web app. Very nice. Some issues. Same thing with the TaoCloud. Some very nice things, but does have some issues. The last thing that I want to say about the positives of this particular switcher. So let me get rid of, I'm going to go back here. We're going to go to settings, inputs, and change this back to SDI, which that seems to be working just fine. And so now we have gotten rid of that. So now the last thing I want to talk about is the touchscreen. This touchscreen is really very nice. So the touchscreen is great. You still have the buttons, and you still have a dial, so you can select whatever you need. But I still like using the touchscreen. And like most touchscreens, it's not always perfect, but it is definitely very useful. Okay, so that's one of the things I really like about it. I especially like the shortcut button. Now the shortcut button on here brings up two things in the touchscreen in the menu itself. One is a transition effect, so if you want to make a quick change of transition, you hit the shortcut button, it brings a transition up, and it also brings up the record menu. And that way you don't have to work your way through the menu to get to record to turn it on or shut it off. You can just go here, hit it once or twice, depending on where the two are, the transitions and the record menu. And then you can turn it off right there. So that works really well. Those are the positives that I have found with this system. Some of the negatives, I've already talked about a lot of them. Again, the Tao Live login, the responsiveness and losing the connection are just those are just deal breakers for me to use that. I would sure keep trying it if I knew they were making adjustments to it. But that connection and the login really are the biggest problems that I have with that. Scene view deletion. I would really like to be able to delete the views that I'm no longer using from the menu. So right here, when I go to the view menu, you can see I have 7 of the 8 views already recorded. Now I can record over the top of those 8 views, any of those views there, but I would like to be able to delete them. And one of the reasons I wanted to delete them is because before I actually used these, I realized that it was actually, if I was tapping on them, it was actually moving my PTZ camera to the preset that's attached to each of those numbers. So with the preset or the camera that I had active at the time, it was actually moving those presets based on basically looking like this number 7 down here. So when they were all just like that, in fact, nothing was recorded. Now, once they're recorded in, I can't delete those recordings. I have to just simply record over them. Well, this means that I have 7 possibilities, and if I forget which ones I just changed, I might be hitting the wrong one. So it would be nice to be able to delete those. I've already told them about that, and they are looking into that, and that'll be good. So that's really good. The last thing that really kind of got me was when I first got this, I was using the user manual, and I couldn't find words that were the same. So the words that are in here, for instance, views on the system here, are not views on TaoCloud or in the app or even in the user manual. In those, you have scenes. Okay, we have views here, we have scenes there. Now, do they mean the same thing? Yes, they do. I kind of like the word scenes, but go with one or the other. You can't keep changing over. And there's several things like that have words that are different from the scenes. In the web app, for instance, when you go in there to set up your streaming, you go into output and there's no streaming button. All right, so we got this back up here. You go into output, and in output, what you have on the machine is you have stream. Here, it's called push flow. Took me a while before I defined that out. Push flow, and now you have streams again. But you have to go to push flow first. And then here you can see that stream number 1 is taken up by Tao, and that again will go to their servers so that you can send out to multiple locations by using a single stream right there. And then I have my YouTube stream here. I could put 2 more in here myself. But I shouldn't have to look for streams underneath push flow. So use the same terminology, and there are several other areas where they did use different terminology, and they assured me that they are going to go look through those and try to get those to match. So expect either a firmware upgrade for that or user manual and other changes to make that work. Those are my pros and cons of this machine. Definitely more pros than cons, and definitely been changing things as we go, and I've been very happy with the responses and the support from the company. This is definitely worth looking into, knowing that it's just going to get better. And this is nothing new from any of the other ones. If you've been following the GoStream deck, tons of problems there. If you've been following ATEM minis, tons of problems there when they first started out. A lot of those changes have come from users just simply saying, hey, can you fix this? Hey, can you do this? So by all means, send information into the Tao or RGBlink and tell them what your problem is. Or, like I said, leave a comment here. I believe they are watching my videos, and they are probably going to watch the comments. So leave a comment there, and either I'll send it to them or they will get it also. So until next time, have a great time. Please like, subscribe, and also share this video so others can view it also. And God bless.